Hey Jayhawks, welcome to this video about creating social change at KU and beyond. In this video, we are going to share some stories from current Jayhawks, some helpful resources, and some opportunities for you to engage in this work as soon as you arrive on campus. So let's get started. So first, we're going to share a little bit about what social change is, what the social change wheel is as a tool that we're going to be using throughout this video. Then we're going to get into some stories from current Jayhawks about their involvement in creating social change. And then next, we're going to have some resources and engagement opportunities for you to peruse on your own time as you prepare to arrive at KU in the fall. So first, what is the social change wheel? The social change wheel is a tool that we use here at KU to illustrate the various ways that students, faculty, staff, community partners, anyone really can work to create change in their own communities. There's 12 external spokes of the social change wheel, and that's what we're going to be focusing on in this video. So the social change wheel is one of many tools that institutions of higher education use to demonstrate the ways that students can engage in service and civic engagement. Another tool that we also use is the Pathways to Service model. And you can see that there's a number of pathways that connect to social change wheel spokes. So I'm really excited to share the videos that students put together for you to learn more about their experiences in working towards social change through academic programs, student organizations, and independently.
I believe the socially responsible daily behavior spoke of the social change wheel is important because it is up to each and every one of us to engage with our civic and natural communities in a way that is healthy, thoughtful, and respectful in order to make intersectional progress as a community. I got involved with the KU Beekeeping Club when it was first established in the spring of 2019. I was the education outreach coordinator the following semester, and then I served as president from the summer of 2020 until I graduated recently. The purpose of the KU Beekeeping Club is to educate and engage students and members of the local community in beekeeping practices, sustainability, and environmental stewardship and responsibility. My experience with the KU Beekeeping Club has made me see the world as much more connected than ever before. The interconnected dynamic between ourselves, the people around us, and our environment has become much more obvious through our work with the bees in the local beekeeping community. I see my responsibility as greater now, owing more to the world that it provides for all of us, with an obligation to act responsibly and sustainably and care for our planet.
At the Dole Institute, through our discussion groups, our pizza and politics events, and other student-oriented events like student advisory board meetings, we have discussion over political issues which affect us on an everyday basis. Through an open dialogue, students are better able to understand each other and able to understand each other's viewpoints. There's a lot of diverse viewpoints at the University of Kansas, and as an institution, the Dole Institute does a wonderful job of promoting these different diverse ideas through bipartisan discussion. Before coming to the University of Kansas, I was very stuck in my ways, and I believed only what I wanted to believe. When I came to the Dole Institute and I engaged in reflective and deliberative discussions over political and policy issues, I understood the importance of diverse voices that are different than yours. Being able to listen to other students who view different issues differently than me was such a valuable component that I didn't realize I needed until I became involved at the Dole Institute.
There are so many opportunities in the Lawrence area. I think the big thing is just looking for them or going through an organization like the CCO that's involved with those and can help you connect on a more personal level. And two that I'm really familiar with are the Lawrence Community Shelter. And so that is a local shelter that helps families have a place to stay while they get back on their feet. And they have a lot of volunteer opportunities for students and really, really need that support, especially once the pandemic hit and kind of disrupted their regular flow. So that's a great way to get involved, and that's an issue that's very, very important to the Lawrence community, and there's a very big source of contention here. And then another way to get involved is through one of our programs, Hawks for Health. And so we partner with a couple of different entities, and one of those is Lawrence Public Library, and another is just the federal government, because we help people enroll in open insurance during the open enrollment period, and then we also help people enroll in SNAP. So that's a great way to develop a tangible community organizing skill. And it's run by students and done by students. So I think that's a really great example of, you don't have to be like working for some organization. You can take that initiative yourself and get training.
We have 12 different programs, and each program is led by 2 to 3 different program coordinators with a wide variety of interests and focuses. And so that's something that you all can get involved in if you're looking for something with a little less time commitment. There's several different events that we hold, which is Super Service Saturday is one that's held in the fall. I know that there's other organizations such as the Big Event, which also holds service events throughout the semester, and even like alternative breaks. So there's plenty of different organizations to get involved with service here.
So my involvement with the CCO and just focusing on community engagement has definitely changed my way of viewing our personal responsibility to contributing to social change in our communities. And that also factored how I viewed my future career path. So I am on the pre-med track and I'm going to be going to medical school in the fall. And one thing that really changed as a course of being involved in so many community organizing things was realizing the importance of community resources in health, and focusing on social determinants and thinking beyond just one patient-provider interaction. So I think that's a great way of how not only you can change your community through service and through social change, but it also changes you in return, and alters your career path and your values, mostly for the better. So that's one great effect, I think, of being involved with social change.
Yeah, I would definitely have to agree with Aruj. My involvement with the Center for Community Outreach has really shaped how I view the local community like that you're surrounded by. I think it's easy to get caught up in wondering about other places and other things and like bigger and better things that like national levels, but like I think remembering to focus on our local levels and like where we live and really contributing to our community here is so incredibly important. And I think that's something that I really got to learn to value during my time being with the Center for Community Outreach. And so it's something that I feel like has taught me a lot to both value my community that I'm surrounded by, but also the community at large.
Community organization is important because we can achieve more together than individually. At KU Community Garden, each one of our members is instrumental in maintaining the garden, from our leaders that manage the garden, running our social media accounts, managing finances, organizing community service days. We all have something to offer. In addition, having the space to come together brings opportunities to learn from each other, to grow individually, as well as within our community. I helped foster community organizing within the KU Community Garden from the ground up with a fellow graduate student that has since completed their master's, Tim Burnett. In the fall of 2019, we both were first-year graduate students, and we had been asked to take over the leadership. Soon after, we came up with a goal to create a section of the garden that was focused on donations. Now that I'm involved in the KU Community Garden, I have come to realize social change does not take much to leave a lasting change. From the core basis of probably about 10 students, we were able to bring about a lot of positive outcomes by providing nutritious, healthy food to food insecure families in the greater Lawrence community. We hope to inspire the KU community to support local food systems and encourage them to develop an appreciation for where their food is sourced.
Campus Cupboard is a resource center on Lawrence campus open to all KU students, staff, and affiliates. We carry free food, hygiene products, diapers, school supplies, and other resources. So advocacy and raising awareness is vitally important when discussing social change, because when it comes to the uphill battle of dismantling inequities in our society and rooting out those unwanted parts of the status quo, you can never have too many allies or too many people informed about an issue. Between 2016 and 2018, research was done here at KU examining food insecurity among the KU community, and it found that 54% of respondents were considered food insecure by USDA guidelines. So the examination of food insecurity on KU campus by just a few students and faculty raised awareness about the issue and led to the forming of the Food for Jayhawks Committee and Campus Cupboard as its main resource center. So Campus Cupboard is living proof of the profound impact that advocacy and raising awareness can have on the community.
So I got involved with OSTEM and community building fall of 2019, and that was when I first entered KU. And I realized going to KU that it was really difficult to navigate these spaces and find spaces where I could embrace my identity as being someone who is queer and Vietnamese American. And so fortunately, I was able to find OSTEM, and I realized that building a community, especially for queer students on campus, is very important so that students are able to be uplifted and interact in the space where they feel supported and valued. My involvement with community building in OSTEM has changed my view and others in contributing to social change. And the reason for this is because when I first joined OSTEM in fall of 2019, I realized that we need these spaces to exist, because without these spaces, marginalized students and folks on campus are left to navigate these institutions on their own, and it risks them not having a good experience at KU. And so this has ultimately impacted my career goals and how I see myself in the future, because I want to pursue medicine, and I want to pursue medicine in a way where patients and people are able to come together and feel valued for who they are and not feel like they are being judged or discriminated against.
While our society is constantly developing, some of our pre-existing systems continually fail the most marginalized and vulnerable among us. By collaborating with campus/community partners and other students, we can recognize the interconnectedness of many social factors in order to develop new ideas and pathways for resources for those in need. I started getting involved with the campus cupboard when I first started regularly volunteering in the physical space during the spring 2020 semester. While I was volunteering, I thought not only was it very rewarding to know that I was directly contributing to help those who are food insecure, I thought it was very informative to learn and become educated that food insecurity within on-campus specifically was a lot more common than I thought it was. Because I was already interested, along with becoming more informed, with finding ways to address food insecurity, that made me become interested in being a program coordinator. Now currently, I am serving as one of the 3 program coordinators for the campus cupboard for the duration of the 2020-2021 academic year. There is a big need for individuals who can work behind the scenes in order to address the inequities and systemic problems by introducing innovative ideas and methods of social change.
So, Camp Kesem is a national nonprofit organization that focuses on providing kids whose parents have been affected by cancer with a free week-long summer camp. So this is a free camp for kids to have fun and kind of just de-stress from everything that's going on at home. So our kids usually range from 6 to 18. And these are kids whose parents, have cancer or their parents have passed away from cancer. So they're going through in a very, emotionally stressing time. And so we're here to support them. And fundraising, of course, is a very big part of Kesem because it is a nonprofit and we provide the camp, free to any family. So in order for that to happen, we have to make sure that we are fundraising as much as possible. This past year, fall 2020, we raised over $19,000 to our Kesem families to, send them off to camp and also to send our volunteers to camp for free. So that is a really big part of Kesem and how it runs. And so a big part of, making camp free is to really encourage diversity, equity, inclusion, making sure that we include, almost anybody that wants to be, coming to camp. And, regardless of socioeconomic status or other boundaries, we want to make sure camp is free for all. Through Kesem, our campers can really kind of grow their community of, other kids whose, parents, have been affected by cancer as well. They're able to kind of talk to people who are going through the same situation as them, and they're able to build that community of themselves with, their close friend groups, but also have a wide range community, all around the nation.
Every April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and among many programs, activities, and awareness events that SAPEC hosts throughout the month of April, one that is well known is our Awareness Flags project displayed on the Watson lawn. And these flags are a visual symbol of statistically how many students on our campus are victims of sexual violence. The goal of this project is to recognize survivors, increase awareness about sexual violence, and acknowledge how it affects students on our campus. We feel by increasing awareness and showing support for survivors, This demonstration both increases awareness and highlights the issues facing students, but it can also motivate people to be active bystanders in preventing sexual violence and encourage people and support them and motivate them to support survivors as well. In all seriousness, right, sexual violence is a pervasive and serious problem in our society, and it impacts college students of all identities. Over my time with SAPEC, I've grown to become very passionate about sexual violence prevention and accountability. It's important work, and it's rewarding as well. By spreading knowledge, helping people learn, seeing the growth, it's really important.
Voting, along with other formal political activities, is important because voting is the bedrock of what a democracy should be. More importantly, it directly affects public policy at the local and national level. Unfortunately, history has shown us time and time again how voting rights across this country have been challenged, specifically affecting communities of color. Voter suppression also restricts states from receiving the funding needed to support adequate healthcare, education, housing, and much more. That is why we cannot talk about social justice without addressing the importance of voting. Being able to cast one's ballot should be the easiest way for individuals to participate in their local and national political processes. I became involved with voting and other civic engagement activities through community service I started in 2013. By volunteering for local organizations, I began to see the gaps in our political system. On an individual level, I wasn't sure how I would be able to combat such large social issues. However, when I got to KU in 2018, I found a variety of activities and resources that connected me to people who shared these common concerns and goals. Overall, through volunteering in my community and attending extracurricular events at KU, I was able to become more civically engaged and informed.
You can register to vote at your home address wherever you are from, or you can register at your KU address. The voter registration deadline in Kansas is 21 days prior to the election day. So if you don't get registered to vote before that deadline, you won't be able to participate in that election. I really encourage everyone, if you're interested in registering to vote in Kansas and participating in our elections, to visit ksvotes.org to get registered in less than 5 minutes. Or if you want to register out of state, wherever you're from, you can visit rockthevote.org as well. The last thing I'll say related to education around voting, and something of why I believe it's so important, is that we should all be creating a voting action plan. Where are you going to register to vote? Are you going to register at home, or are you going to register at KU or at your university? You have that choice as a college student. The second is, what is on your ballot? Or what's your take on the candidates or the questions that are there? This is going to take some research, but it's really important that you make an informed decision and that you can help inform other people in your network. And the third is, how are you going to vote? Are you going to vote early in person, or by advance voting in mail, or in person the day of election day? Those are important choices to be deciding earlier on. And then after you've figured out every step in the voting process, help other people disperse this information, because that's why I think this social change wheel part of voting in formal political activities is so important, because it's the information we gain and then dispersing that information to other people in our community that need it, because that's how we increase our collective power.
Lawrence Fridge in Kansas is a mutual aid project bringing free community fridges and pantries to Lawrence, with the aim of building community solidarity and fighting food insecurity. Anyone can take whatever they need and give whatever they can. Mutual aid is an important strategy to achieve social change, because it means that people from a community take responsibility for caring for one another, while also acknowledging the failures of our governments, systems, and institutions at providing for the needs of the people. It's a long-term commitment to the community, specifically to its most marginalized members, in a way that's focused on building networks of solidarity rather than a top-down system like charity. We got together a coalition of student organizations at KU, including the Jayhawk Liberation Front, KU Black Student Coalition, and the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee, as well as KU students and Lawrence community members. And that's where it all began. My involvement with Lawrence Freedom, Kansas has definitely changed my view on our responsibility to social change. I feel like we have this internalized notion that change has to come from the top down, but really, just seeing the impacts of this project has made me realize that change really does come from the bottom up.
Lead Up is basically a college readiness program. It gets you ready for college. So we do like support services, we do tutoring, we do campus tours, things like that. Kind of giving them the vibe and giving them the supports to be able to succeed to college. I feel like it's very important because the kids that we work with come from can come from low income, high violence risk communities. And they're the population that's most at risk. They're the population that's most at risk at literally everything, not going to college, substance abuse, violence, things like that. And these are all called risk factors. But if you put in certain protective factors, like giving them tutoring, giving them a chance to go to college, giving them adults that are not their parents around in their lives, it helps increase the protective factors against those bad outcomes that we don't want to happen. So being directly involved with youth is where I love to be, because that's where you're making, and although every other type of social change is important, I feel like being directly with them, being eye to eye with them, being able to physically talk to them, that's what is creating one of the biggest protective factors in their life specifically.
I hope that it was interesting and inspiring for you to hear the stories of those students. It certainly was for me and the rest of our team. The next thing that I want to share with you in this video is some helpful resources for you to get started in creating your own strategies for working towards social change once you arrive on campus this fall. So first is our website, csl.ku.edu. Here you can register for the Certificate in Service Learning, sign up for one of our newsletters, and register to participate in our Community Service Advocates program. That is just the tip of the iceberg as to what's on our website. So I encourage you to go there, peruse a little bit, and see all of the resources and opportunities that our office has to offer. The next thing is our KU Community Engagement Toolbox, which is a new resource that we put together this year, servicelearning.ctb.ku.edu. And this all revolves around our action framework for community engagement. So check that out. I hope it's really helpful and interesting to you. The next piece is Rock Talk Central. This is the student organization hub on campus. So rocktalkcentral.ku.edu. You can connect with student organizations and events and opportunities that those student organizations are putting on. And you can also search by student organization category. So I'll talk a little bit about that in a bit. The next resource is volunteer.ku.edu. This is a website that was put together by the Center for Community Outreach, and they work with local volunteer organizations to post opportunities that you all can take advantage of. So I encourage you to go to volunteer.ku.edu, check it out regularly, bookmark it on your web browser. And you can always go back to it and look for upcoming volunteer opportunities and events. The last resource that I want to share with you today is Volunteer Douglas County, volunteerdouglascounty.org. This is a website run by the United Way of Douglas County, and a lot of community nonprofits use it to post their volunteer opportunities. So the last thing I want to share with you is some opportunities for you to get engaged in creating social change and finding your place in the KU service and civic engagement community. So first, I would highly recommend participating in Super Service Saturday. This is something that's put on by the Center for Community Outreach every fall semester, usually associated with Hawk Week. And you can check the CCO social media over the summer for more information about when that event is going to be and how you can register. It's a really fun event, bringing hundreds of students together to go to a ton of different community partner service sites, and it's a great way to kind of dip your toes into working in service at KU. The next thing is joining a student organization that aligns with some of your values and your goals for your time at KU. So you can search Rock Talk Central for organizations categorized as service and philanthropy or social change and advocacy, or if you're interested in working with a political organization, etc., you can search Rock Talk Central for those types of organizations, and then you can see what you find. There are over 600 organizations, student organizations at KU, so there really is something for everyone. Another piece of advice I would give is to take a service learning class. There's a lot of different ones across a lot of different subject areas. So some highlights that I'll share is Applied Behavioral Science 150, Communications 342, and UNIV 492. Our office runs the UNIV 492 course, so if you have any questions about that, please reach out to us. The next thing I would share is connect to an off-campus community organization that shares the values that you have. So some of the ones that students work with very regularly are Just Food, which is the community food bank, the Lawrence Community Shelter, which is a homeless shelter in town, and the United Way of Douglas County. So those are just 3. There's tons of them, and I would recommend looking at the United Way's website for more information on a bunch of other nonprofit organizations in the area. And finally, I would encourage you to join our Community Service Advocates program at the Center for Service Learning. This is where we work to connect KU students with each other who are all doing similar work related to service, social change, civic engagement in our community. So if you're passionate about service, you're passionate about creating change, you're passionate about engaging in civic life and in your community, we would highly encourage you to join us. And you can learn more about that opportunity on our website, csl.ku.edu, under the For Students tab. So thank you so much for watching this video today. I hope it was helpful and you were able to find some resources and some inspiration into how you want to create your own experience here at KU. If you have any questions about the content of this video, or if you would like to schedule a meeting with one of our staff members to talk about opportunities for you personally based on your interests and your skills and your passions, please reach out to us using the contact information you see on this slide. Thank you so much again, and we hope to see you in the fall. Rock Chalk.